Hey, what's going on, guys? Today we are talking about how to craft a documentary. In my last video, I talked about the post-it notes that we have on the wall for our documentary, No Country is an Island. And I got a ton of response from you guys asking more about that process, about documentary post-production and just how to make a documentary film. And I'm actually really want to make this video because when I go around YouTube and I look at all the videos out there about how to make a documentary, so many of them just tell you what LUTs to use or what camera gear to use. And that's important, that's part of the filmmaking, but they skip out on some of the most important stuff. And if you skip out on this, then you'll just be shooting recap videos for the rest of your life and not actually crafting the documentary that you really want to be making. So I want to talk about a few little things today, and of course this is just a tidbit on documentary filmmaking, but I'm going to try to really simplify it. Oh, and just before we get into things, I was just sent these headphones from Mez Audio and I've been using them for editing, and I gotta say I really like them. They're actually legit wood. They're the Mez 99 Classic headphones, but I'm doing a contest for them. I am giving away one pair of these headphones. They're really good. They retail for like $300 US. So if you want good audio for your editing, make sure to sign up for this contest. It's super simple. All you need to do is subscribe to my channel, run over to my Instagram, subscribe to that. Do you subscribe? No, you follow on Instagram. Follow on that and leave a comment below with the hashtag MarkBoneHeadphones. And yeah, I'm gonna be doing a little draw for this. They're great headphones. They retail for about $300 US. They got like legit wood here. I'm gonna be giving away a pair of the gold ones just like this. So they're great headphones. I really love these. I'll put a link below if you wanna know more about them. But yeah, guys, it's free. All you have to do is subscribe to this channel, run over, follow me on Instagram, and leave a comment below on this video, or actually any video that just says hashtag MarkBoneHeadphones, and I'll be entering you in. But anyways, let's talk about documentary. And so today's video, I'm gonna be kind of moving in post-production and pre-production, just kind of talking overall theory on documentaries, but I'm trying to give you guys some of the more meaty things that aren't spoken about that often on YouTube. So my first point is you need to determine a theme for your film. Now you're probably thinking this stuff is really boring, and to be honest, it kind of is, but if you don't understand this stuff or you don't nail this down, you're gonna be just shooting recap or highlight videos for the rest of your life, and you're not gonna actually be making a true documentary that has characters who evolve with themes that actually make your audience feel something. So determine a theme. And what is a theme? Well, it's like the thesis. It's the point that you're trying to prove with your film. It's the message that you're trying to send. So with our film, No Country is an Island, the thesis that we're looking at, the theme that we're looking at is what is it like to work in a country that has had so much terrorism and violence and try to rebuild that as the new generation. So you need to be able to put your theme into like one sentence, because that's going to be your guiding thought for you. And you need to have a theme, because if you don't have a theme, while you're out in the field, you're going to be shooting random scenes, you're going to be editing random scenes, you're going to be putting in random music that doesn't align with your theme. So when you start playing back your film, it just feels like a jumbled mess rather than one cohesive message. So really simply put, what is the message that you're trying to convey? Your theme can even impact the color in your film. So in the beginning of our film, we're establishing that there was hope in Sri Lanka, that before these terrorist attacks, there was a lot of joy in the country. So our colors are very vibrant, they're very joyful. But then as the theme shifts, as we've discovered about these terrorist attacks and we're learning about the impact that it has on the country, we're changing the music, we're changing the look and feel. I even changed the way I shot sometimes to help support that theme. And speaking of music, if you want to get the right tones for your music, get the right theme, I really suggest Epidemic Sound. And why I suggest them is they allow you to get stems out of your music. And what are stems? Well, typically when you download a music track, all of the instruments are together in that track. But what Epidemic Sound allows you to do is download the music track with each separate instrument. So the drums or the violins or any of these stems, and you can pull them apart so that you can actually build the music or just use parts of the music that you want. If you just want the piano but you don't want the percussion, then you can do that.
Breaking news out of Sri Lanka, an island nation off the southern coast of India. There are at least 200 people who have been killed.
And that's the amazing thing with Epidemic Sound. I love that there's not too many people doing that out there. in the subscription music business. So highly recommend them. I have a trial code for them down below. I love using them. I've been using a ton of their music for our edit so far. Number 2 is you need to figure out the structure of your film. And this is a mistake that I make often as a filmmaker. It's probably the most common mistake for people in documentaries. They get to the country and they're so excited to try a new transition that they saw on a YouTube tutorial. They forget about the structure of their film. And so basic structure of movies, and I could go into a lot more detail on this, so if you want me to talk about this more in another video, I can, but it's a whole thing. Basic plot structure is that you need to have the introduction to the film, an inciting incident, the rising action, the climax, and then the resolution. And again, like I said, that is totally oversimplifying the plot structure, but that's the basic thing. So when I'm shooting a documentary, I try to simplify it more so that I can understand it more simply, because when I'm out there filming and I'm thinking of questions for the interviews and trying to figure out the camera gear, you can get overwhelmed. So there's just 4 basic plot points that I'm looking for. The first is I need to establish my character. I need to have a couple scenes at the beginning where we get to know them, we get to know who they are, and what's really important is the good in their life. What is the good that's happening in their life? Because next, I need to have an inciting incident. I need to talk about what is going to change in their life. So with No Country is an Island, we established our main character, Amjad, and then our second point was the inciting incident, which was really simply the terrorist attack that happened in the country. So we first established the good in his life, that he loved the country, that he loves living in Sri Lanka, but now we have this terrorist attack, and that has changed his life. So now we need to work through that, and that's where the rising action is. And this is the most difficult part of documentary, is trying to show the increased tension, because you don't always have control of someone's life. You don't always have control of what's unfolding, and this is why really good documentarians sometimes will work with a subject, will work on a film for years, because they're constantly filming and they're waiting for that rising action to occur in their life. They're waiting for the tension. Tension is interesting because tension, we don't know what's going to happen. So that's why we want to watch, because we want to know, okay, what's the issue in their life? What are they trying to solve? And where are they going? How are they going to solve it? So you need to have increased action. And this is where people, when they go to a country and they try to tell a documentary, I always ask them, well, what's the conflict? And if they can't tell me what the conflict is, you don't have a film, you just have a highlight video. You need to figure out what is the conflict that your character has. So, and then after that, you're just trying to follow them resolve that conflict. So if you can, you want to have scenes that progressively either get more complex or more intense, or you find out more information about the person that makes them more complex, so that you can finally have a good climax in your film, which is when they resolve that issue or when we discover some really crazy information. So I don't want to give away too much in our film. That's probably where we're stuck in the edit right now, is we're trying to figure out what is the climax of this film? How do we build up in this film? We started with a terrorist attack, so where do we go from there? Is that too much all at once? So for us, we might have to be rearranging the whole film a lot, but that's where, if you understand basic plot structure, it will really help you in the edit, because you'll know where you need to put what scenes. But I hope that makes sense. Like I said, I can do more of an in-depth analysis on plot structure. Also, you want to see my backlight? This is my backlight. It's just one of the little F7 lights laying on the ground. I absolutely love this light. It's incredible. I talked about it in one of my other videos. I have a link in the description. It's amazing. Oh, and I'll show you my other light here. It's my monitor, just a giant white block. That's all I use. But let's go look at these Post-its. We are Lewis. This is Lewis, our editor. We've been, how many weeks now are we on No Country is an Island?
A lot.
Yeah, yeah. We're at that point where it's just a lot. We don't even know where we're at, but how's it going in the edit? What are you working on right now?
It's going well. We're working on a scene right now where our main character, Amjad, is visiting some of the victims of the bombing. This is kind of the moment where the viewer gets to really take in all this emotion and the struggle that all of these victims are going through months and months after this terrible terrorist attack that happened a few months ago.
So a lot of you were asking about these Post-it notes, and I think you thought there was some magic behind them, but essentially all they are is each scene in our film. We've determined, after we came back and we started just looking at all the footage we had, we started writing down all the individual scenes. And what we can do now is we lay all these scenes out and we can start to see, is the film building in tension? Do we have too many of the same scenes all at once? So I've color coordinated these scenes. So every pink scene here is a scene with our main character, Amjad. And what I'm trying to see when I quickly do a glance at the film is do I have enough of him at the beginning, which we did, but last week when you saw me doing the video, I didn't have Amjad until like 5 minutes into the edit, and then you start not knowing who the film is about and you don't understand what's going on. So we put all these scenes onto these post-it notes and then we just rearrange them, and this is because it's so much quicker to just move a post-it on the wall than it is to go into the editing software and try to rearrange an entire scene. So this is our quick reference board. And what's great too is there's 3 of us editing this film right now because we're really trying to get it done. So we all meet every morning, and then I'll say, hey, I'm gonna work on the victim visit here, this scene with Debbie, and then Lewis might jump on like an old news footage scene about the Civil War, and then Michael, our other director, you know, he might do a scene about the political and ethnic tension. So there's so many different scenes in the film, so we begin breaking them down individually. But then we need those scenes to start working together. And maybe I'm a bit old school, but I love stickies because I put them on there, I color coordinate them, and I start to understand, is my film rising in tension? Is it actually interesting, or is it just a string of scenes that don't connect to each other? Are they just random scenes throughout the film? And is there actually any tension? Is there any conflict in the film? So we use this, and it's a bit messy right now. Like, I was going to actually line it up perfectly for this video, but I wanted you guys to see what it actually looks like partway through a documentary post-production process. Like, you can see we have huge gaps in the film, and we have a bunch of scenes all sitting down here that they're lonely right now. We don't even know if they're gonna make it into the film. But thank you, Lewis. Yeah, thank you.
No worries.
He's killing it. Lewis is an awesome editor. If you need a good editor in Toronto, reach out to us. I have his contact details. But yeah, man, when I look at this, I realize how much work we still have to go. We got 2 weeks before we have to show the first rough cut. Gotta get back to it. So there you go. That is that is a lot of information about documentary post-production and pre-production. I know these aren't necessarily the most sexy documentary tips. It's not about, you know, what LUT to use or what's my favorite lens. And I can always talk about those things because I love cinematography, I love shooting, and I am passionate about the images in my film. But these things are more important. You could shoot a film on a crappy camera, but if you have these things established, if you have conflict and conflict resolution in your film and a final triumphant climax, it'll be way more interesting than someone who has all the coolest drone shots or the best LUTs or all the coolest camera moves, because your film is gonna have heart, it's gonna matter. We're gonna care about the people on camera. So these are some quick tips. I'll do some more videos. Again, it's a journey. You might be always wondering why I'm saying I'll do another video about this stuff, but filmmaking's a journey. I'm still learning. I have so much to learn, and I love working on films like this because every time I learn something more. But yeah, I'm headed to New York this weekend. I got some meetings, some about this film, some about some upcoming films, so fingers crossed. Also too, don't forget about the giveaway for these headphones. Remember just to leave a comment below with a hashtag MarkBone headphones, and also go over to my Instagram, follow me on there, and make sure to subscribe to this channel. I looked at my statistics, and like 50% of you who are watching this are unsubscribed, which is a shame because you're missing out on new videos. So make sure to hit that subscribe button. But I will see you guys on the next video. Thank you as always for watching.